Firstly, fair play to you. It's 5 o'clock. You're still here, hungry for ideas. You're hardcore. Well done. So if you know, I've been here for a few years, since 2018. Are we working, guys? And you know, I always start in the same position and I talk about the why. And why are we doing a promotion? It's really important that you know what you're trying to achieve when you start out with a promotion. So there's a few key reasons why we do big station promotions. Number one is reach, get people through the door, more listeners. Number two is market share, time spent listening, make them stay longer. Number three, launching a new show or format. You want to make some noise in the marketplace. Number four, using those station platforms, digital, social, on the street if important. And finally, maybe the toughest one, the client-based promotion. They want to spend a load of money with you, and you've got to come up with an idea that works for them and for you. So we're going to start this year in the Netherlands with Q Radio, and there's lots of variations of hide and seek and on the run. And Q Radio brought us Wanted, which is a situation where the breakfast presenter, Marieke, was on the run. And it was the drive time presenter, Damian, who had 100 hours to find her. And the interesting thing here, the win for the listeners, they had to bet when exactly Damian would find Marieke, down to the last second. If they did so, they were in the running for €10,000. Here's some highlights of what happened.
Ik doe mijn bril nu af. Ah, nee toch. Nee!
Hey, onwijs veel succes. Ik ben 100 meter bij je vandaan. Dat zal de enige keer zijn deze week.
Lieve Domien, ik krijg van allemaal luisteraars die ook in jouw team zitten via de Q-app een plattegrondje van dat doolhof. Ik ga jou even helpen om uit het doolhof te komen.
Hi Domien, wat goed dat je de uitgang hebt gevonden. Je hebt toch hopelijk wel de sleutel meegenomen die bij het startpunt neergelegd hebt?
Nee. Je bus staat op de parkeerplaats van het doolhof.
Met daarop natuurlijk de foto van de heks in kwestie, Marieke Elsinga. En daarachter de Tom Cruise van deze week. Domien Verschuren die achter elkaar aanrent. Ben je team Marieke en zie je dit rijden? Niks zeggen, ben je team Domien? Help me even een klein beetje op weg. Ik heb inmiddels een live locatie van een spion voor mij. Marieke zit in de auto bij die spion.
Dat is nog 5 keer? Dat is nog 5 keer? Nou, go!
Ja, die 60 minuten challenge is tot een goed einde gebracht. Dat heeft ook meteen een consequentie voor jou. Want jij mag een half uur lang geen internet gebruiken.
Lieve vrienden, het maakt niet uit. Ik heb namelijk de afgelopen 45 minuten de live locatie van Marieke al gekregen dankzij Priscilla, die haar zo ongelooflijk goed geholpen heeft. Priscilla komt uit Team Domien. Marieke, ik zit achter je aan. Ik ben ongelooflijk dichtbij. Rij je met je donder, anders is dit spel voor het middaguur afgelopen. Tot zo.
Vreselijk, vreselijk. Ik hou op.
Wanted, Marieke.
Kilometeralarm. Waar? Nee, daar staat hij! Oh mijn god, hij staat er niet!
Jullie zijn nog minder dan 1 kilometer bij elkaar vandaan.
We zijn 1 uur?
Nu? Exact.
Dat is hem.
Daar is de bus, daar is een fucking bus!
Het is echt afgelopen, stop! Geef je over!
Q-Music's Wanted. Wanted, Marieke.
So one of the interesting things was Marieke was given a number of challenges through the campaign, and if she completed them, she won a reward, and if she failed, her live location was revealed to the listeners for a limited period of time, which helped them to find her and Damian to find her. Next, we're going to go to the United Kingdom and to Greatest Hits Radio, classic hit station. Music is their thing. And they decided to recreate Live 8, the most important musical and cultural event of any of our lifetime. And just to show how big it got, this was how it was covered initially on US morning TV.
Next up, it's Queen. Let's start this one with a little Live 8 throwback. Queen performance headed back to the radio in honor of the star-studded charity concert's 40th anniversary. The UK's greatest hits radio station is set to rebroadcast that show. It's a 10-hour special called Live 8 Relive. It's going to include Queen plus David Bowie, Paul McCartney, and The Who, and a lot more. You can look out for that on July 13th.
So how did it work? Well, basically, on the 40th anniversary of the most iconic cultural music event in history, Live 8 Relived brought the magic and meaning of the 1985 global phenomenon back to life through a meticulously crafted 10-hour live broadcast on Greatest Hits Radio. And the ambitious event not only replayed every live music set from the original concert to the very minute that it occurred back in 1985, but they also reignited the story of how music and musicians united to confront a global humanitarian crisis. They had the full backing of Bob Geldof and the Live Aid Trust, and it was the definitive destination for commemorating the anniversary, outperforming even the BBC in coverage and cultural impact. They had all the big stars involved, they had the live music, but what was really special about this was that they got the listeners who were there on the day to relive their memories, and this is just a sample of how it sounded.
For the next 10 hours, we are reliving Live Aid, 40 years to the day.
My friend Lorraine and I managed to get a ticket each for the Live Aid concert. We had an amazing time. We just couldn't believe, we kept pinching ourselves. It was so hot. It was just such a fantastic event.
I'm outside the Shaftesbury Theatre right here in the West End, celebrating just for one day the Live Aid musical. Brian May has just stepped out of his car.
It was incredible. Nobody expected it. Nobody planned it, really. It wasn't like we went in there to be heroes or anything, but something happened. Some electricity just connected, and it was enormous.
I lay on a flight case just to stretch, and Bowie came by and he said, "Oh, turn over, mate, and I'll see if there's a Prince Charles Massage." And he saw Alternative Universe, David Bowie, masseuse. And I'm going, "No, Dan, but Dave, no, over, yeah.
A lovely email from Paul Tricky who says, "My highlights of the day in no particular order. My pals Sarah and Paul turning down tickets to Wembley that day, Freddie Mercury and Queen, and then driving back up the M6 to Edinburgh the next day with my programme in one hand, T-shirt on."
I had my £25 ticket, thanks to my friend Clive, who worked for Boots in Nottingham. And Boots had put an ad in the programme, and I think he said it cost them £10,000, but they didn't mind because it all went to Live Aid. Everybody watching the same thing is not an experience that anyone under 40 has, I think.
We were very fortunate to be at that stage of our lives when this was just about possible. Satellite stuff and technology just about pulled it together.
Millions of people watch, millions of people give us money, millions of people can eat. Really simple.
Greatest Hits Radio. Live Aid. Relived.
So great positioning as a music station and as a classic hit station. Next up, we're off to Belgium and to the radio station Willy, and a very catchy title, the Willy Chalet. And it basically turned Christmas into a full-blown live experience with a chance to win this chalet for you and 17 friends. But first, the DJs had to live in it and test it out, and they broadcast live radio straight from the Ardennes. They completed daily challenges, and the listeners had to guess which DJ would win the challenge. The listener with the most correct predictions won the ultimate prize, the Christmas stay in the Willy Chalet for up to 17 friends or family members. They had a lot of live performances as well. Take a look.
What's the best Christmas gift you could get as a Willy listener? A luxury Willy Chalet to celebrate Christmas with 17 friends in the heart of the Belgian Ardennes. But obviously, the chalet had to be properly tested first by our very own Willy DJs. And what happens if you bring all our DJs together under one roof 24/7? That's right, an epic week. But seriously, what the heck is the Willy Chalet? Live radio in a unique setting from dusk till dawn, cool challenges between our DJs, and funny behind-the-scenes content online. And every night, the Willy Chalet transforms into an intimate concert hall. With exclusive performances from the best bands of our Belgian music scene, where listeners can win tickets on air to attend these living room concerts. The perfect occasion to connect with our listeners in real life. And the best part? At the end of the week, one listener wins a unique Christmas experience in the chalet with 17 friends. But how can you become this lucky bastard? It's simple. Tune in all week to Willy, live from the chalet. Survive the final game, and the chalet could be yours.
Next up, we're going to go to my home country of Ireland. Today FM is a national music and entertainment station, and it is built on big personalities right across the day. And one of the issues when you have personalities right across the day is sometimes they can all be little islands in themselves. So they wanted to bring the team together and create some fun for the listeners. And the presenters had to randomly gate crash each other's radio shows to create unexpected fun moments. The goal was very simple: make the listeners laugh. So first up, this was the setup. So Mario Rosenstock is Ireland's leading comedian and impersonator. He's a Radio Hall of Famer, and he's been on the Today FM breakfast show for over 25 years. So this was how it started.
Play me. Sorry, is this thing on?
Yeah, we're right.
Today FM, in all its glory, have decided to promote me CEO after 25 years of hard work.
What?
Where's me mint tea? First order of business, you presenters have to make me laugh. Bring the funny. I'm not feeling that. I need to feel that. You can keep your pink pony club, that's grand. Your cash machine, trash machine, more like. Barry Dunn, does he make me laugh? No. Over the next 2 weeks, it's up to ye jokers, our presenters, our household names, to make me laugh. And I'll crown one of ye the winner. So whenever you hear this sound, gate crash each other's show. Bring the funny. God, do it. Reception person. 3 Byros. And for you at home, expect more chaos, less Sabrina Carpenter, and absolute mayhem on Today FM. If you're up to it.
So it ran over 2 weeks across all shows, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how it played out on air. So the context for the next clip: Matt is the serious current affairs broadcaster. He does politics, he does serious stuff, and he gate crashed Dave's show. Dave does mid-mornings, fun, entertainment, music. Dave is known for his bad jokes, and Matt came in.
Oh my God. Dave Moore, you're nothing but a muppet. Right? You were being renamed as Dave Muppet Moore, and one of the things that makes you a muppet is the way that you do your bad jokes. So I'm taking over. Why is Donald Trump such a fan of every American shredding their cheese? I don't know. He wants to make America great again. I went to my local butcher the other day. I bet him €100 that he couldn't reach the meat on the top shelf. He refused to take the bet because he said the stakes were too high. A man came round in hospital after a serious accident. He shouted, "Doctor, doctor, I can't feel my legs." The doctor replied, "I'm not surprised, I had to amputate your arms." He's gone dark. It's gone dark so early. I can go darker because my friend drowned in a bowl of muesli. He was pulled in by a strong current. I went to the gym instructor and I said, "Can you teach me to do the splits?" And he said, "How flexible are you?" And I said, "Well, I can't do afternoons because I'm on the radio each day from 4:30 on the last word at Today FM. Now that is mayhem. Thank you, Matt. You're only a muppet, Dave.
And one more clip. Ian Dempsey, people use the word legend in radio a lot, but in Ireland, Ian Dempsey is truly a legend. He has been on the morning show on Today FM for about 27 years. Previous to that, he was on the breakfast show on the public service broadcaster 2FM. He was on breakfast radio when I was going to school, and that wasn't today or yesterday. But his hero is David Bowie. And Paula is the evening presenter on Today FM and decided to surprise him.
Went on 20 skiing trips. We met so many crazy listeners, like those girls who flashed their D&M.
Paula, my sweetie.
Do you know what time it is? Time for the breakfast show. Ian Dempsey on your radio. Ho, ho. Give grub and Kickstarter and show ho, 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 this. Ian Dempsey likes his coffee black and hot and chatting football at Pavilion.
So a great way of bringing your on-air team together and having some fun and great social content out of it as well. We're going to go to Austria next on Radio 88.6, and if you were at my session last year, I talked about Tat for Taylor, which was a competition we did in our station where one listener, if they wanted to win Taylor Swift tickets, had to get a massive tattoo of Taylor Swift across their back. But 886 decided to go not one, but 100 times better, and listeners were given the chance to get an exclusive 88.6 tattoo, turning their passion for rock music and the station into a permanent statement. More than 500 people applied and said they'd loved the idea and wanted to do it. One of them suggested make it an event, a tattoo gather, and so they did. They teamed up with a tattoo convention, and they had 20 tattoo artists working in shifts across a whole day to ink 100 listeners. And participants didn't just take part in a promotion, they became a very special part of the family, the radio station family, carrying the brand with them for life. Here's how it went.
Wer zum Henker ist so gestört, sich einen Ziegenbock mit Bock auf Rock und 886-Logo tätowieren zu lassen? Ich, logischerweise, und noch 99 andere. Das ist unfassbarerweise das erste 886 Tattoo Gather, wo 100 sich unseren Peter Hanelius, unseren Bock auf Rock tätowieren lassen. Und die Stellen und die Gründe dafür sind sensationell.
Weil es eines von den verrücktesten Sachen ist, glaube ich, die ich noch machen will in meinem Leben.
Ich höre den Radiosender jeden Tag. Ich finde die Ideen geil. War auf Rockfestparty und so weiter. Denke mir, ja, ich habe mitgemacht und mich beworben und richtig geile Idee.
Ich finde es eine geile Aktion. Dass hier verschiedene Musik spielt, das gefällt mir gut. Und ja, Tippel rein, die Wörter rein, finde ich am allergeilsten.
In dem Moment, wo jemand Blödheit schreit, bin ich schon dort.
Ja, das ist mein erstes Tattoo und deswegen bin ich wahrscheinlich doppelt oder dreifach aufgeregt, aber es taugt mir. Wir haben das damals am Radio gehört, wie das losgetreten wurde, die Idee entstanden ist und dann wurde ich so ein bisschen euphorisch vor Freude. Okay, Tattoo, jetzt musst du da durch. Das erste Tattoo und jetzt kriege ich ein Tattoo. 88, Sexisten, die liebe ich alle, wirklich.
Weil ihr einfach die Musik spielt, die ich die ganze Zeit höre. Mit Timpel. Das ist einfach, wenn man die Arbeit fährt und hört, dann ist einfach total lustig.
Weil ihr der Besten seid.
We have a pause. I can't imagine more passion for your radio brand than getting a tattoo. So we're going to move on to the Netherlands and to Joe, and I really love this idea because it is so simple and it is so small budget. And it focused around the drive time show, but with cross-promotion from other shows. So I presume it's the same in most countries. You have your license plate on your car, but there's a little shell around it, and in most cases, it's the car dealership that's written along there. But why are you driving around advertising a car dealership? And that's what the guys at Joe decided to put to their listeners, and Kai can tell us more.
Hey, my name is Kai, and what I love most about radio is the ability to make something small into something big and fun. And it all started with this. When a car garage swapped my license plate holder for one with their own branding. So we immediately thought, we need our own. And let me translate this for you. It says, in this car, the radio is tuned to Joe. The first thing the team and I did was think about the conclusion. Could we take the studio on the road and create a drive-in where listeners could swap their license plate holder for a new one? From there, we worked backwards. What did we need to make that goal a reality? The key was generating hype. Could we turn a boring piece of plastic into a must-have item without treating it like a prize? If you're driving around with an ad on your car anyway, why not make it about your favorite radio station?
Ik heb er eentje laten maken, ik heb hier ook eentje, waar Joe op staat.
The trick was treating it like a joke at first, and then being overwhelmed by the response, and then slowly scaling up, step by step.
Dit is de Get Ready With Me voor de kentekenplaathouders.
And then it was time to introduce the end goal. A drive-in radio show where listeners could drop by for one last chance to grab their license plate holder. Other DJs from the station were there to help out. We made live radio, and we even had a 200-meter long advertising screen, visible from the busiest highway in the country. It was fun. I think it was authentic, it stood out, and in the end, we have thousands of cars driving around with listeners willingly promoting our station.
Very simple, not a huge amount of money, but very effective. Next up, I'm bringing you back to Ireland and to my own radio station, which is Beat, which is a regional station targeting 15 to 34-year-olds. And I have to give a little advance warning. This is the over 18s bit. There's a little bit of sex talk here. The Irish in the room start to get sweaty and stressed and look up at the ceiling at this part. But I am the host of a morning show in the southeast of Ireland called Beat Breakfast. And 3 weeks ago, I celebrated 20 years hosting the show. And we have been market leader in that position for the best part of 20 years. We've got our biggest figures over the last 18 months. And on the show, our biggest benchmark is a thing called the Daily Dilemma. It's quite simple. It's a problem. People send it in. We talk about it. Listeners get some fun out of it. And it has been the biggest driver of audience for our show and the station for well over 10 years. The highest quarter hour all that time, 8:30 every morning for the Daily Dilemma. And when podcasts started to take off 5 or 10 years ago, I'll be honest, we struggled a little bit, and we didn't know where our place were. We were trying to repurpose content. It wasn't working out. We didn't quite understand why these new people were coming into the podcast space and winning, and we were meant to be the audio experts. So eventually we had that light bulb moment of, well, if this is what people love about your show, give them more of it, and maybe give them something a little bit exclusive. So we came up with Daily Dilemma Uncensored, which was a kind of adult podcast about sex and relationships, where the wholesome family breakfast show hosts were talking about things that we just couldn't talk about on the show, because the show has to be catch-all for families, kids, grannies, whoever. And we started the podcast. It took off really, really well, and really, I suppose, nailed an audience that we found hard, which was the 18 to 25, particularly male audience. It used to be a situation where if I was out in the local pub, people came up to me and wanted to talk about the breakfast show, and all of a sudden they were coming up to me and wanted to talk about the podcast. So it allowed us to have a little bit of edge and bite beyond the breakfast show, and I'm going to give you an example right now of what the podcast looks and sounds like.
I'm with my boyfriend 9 months, and we have a great sex life. We're at it like rabbits. I learned soon enough that he likes to be quite loud in the bedroom. Moans, screams, dirty talk, sometimes movie quotes. Yeah, I know. She didn't give examples.
Remember the guy that he said, "That'll do, pig."
Oh, that'll do.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I said it to him early on about the noise, and he said it really adds to the whole experience for him. We have stayed in hotels before, and I've had to ask him to try keep it down, but he just can't. It's not in him to be quiet. The issue is, we have a family celebration in the west of Ireland in 2 weeks. We've decided to get a 5-bed Airbnb for me and him, my parents, my granny, and my sister with her husband and kids. I just know he'll want to go at it while we're there, as it's always fun to do it in new places. But how am I going to handle this with my parents and granny within earshot? Should I just put a blanket sex ban in place for the weekend? He says it's impossible for him to be quiet when doing it. Do you believe this is really the case? Help me.
So that's a bit about the podcast, but the next natural step for the podcast was the live event. And we did a couple of tests, and over the last 3 months, we've toured the live event across our region in the urban centres to sell out crowds. And it allowed hundreds of listeners to come, hang out with the breakfast team, take part. Here's a little example of a recent gig we did in my home city of Waterford.
There were 2 baby bells on her breasts and a laughing cow on her... They want you to call the baby Niall. Oh!
Don't, it'll turn out gay.
Baby bells. You can catch all the episodes on the Go Loud app.
So one of the reasons I'm including it here is because it's that kind of perfect circle of radio benchmark, podcast, live event, drive back to breakfast, build the brand. And I want to give you just a little example of that. On the way out of a gig in Kilkenny recently, we did some vox pops and just asked the people leaving what they thought.
I want to give you the ride of your life.
My favourite part. I don't know, I've just been laughing the whole way through, to be honest with you. It was kind of hilarious.
When you get to be in a room with them and you see on stage that they're exactly like they are on the radio, I think it adds to that friendship, like you wake up with your mates.
Sorry, Gay was the first one that I ever... The only one that I ever watched.
Oh, it's just brilliant. Such a good laugh.
First time at the show, I really enjoyed it. I think we'll go to the next
next show now again, yeah.
If you missed out in Kilkenny, we are excited to be back in Banklane and Waterford this weekend.
Only a few tickets remaining. Grab yours to be part of the fun. I don't know why I did that.
So again, it's that perfect circle of driving back to the breakfast brand. And I had a conversation with some colleagues actually last night, and we were talking about how in radio we're doing a big job often to push to podcasts that are within our group. But are podcasts pushing back to radio? It's a question we should all ask ourselves as well. Next up, we're going to Crete. And this is kind of a similar vibe. Yesterday at the Programming Summit, Nick spoke quite a bit about handshakes. And I'm a firm believer in handshakes. Get out, meet your listeners. I worked with the radio consultant Phil Dowse many years ago. And he said every hand you shake is a loyal P1 listener because they've met you. They know you. And again, this is what the guys at Love Radio did. They put themselves out in the community and they wanted to give their listeners a chance to meet their favourite presenters, experience live broadcasting firsthand, and they built a 3-in-1 media hub in the lobby of a huge central hotel. It was a radio studio where they broadcast live, a podcast hub where people could come in and make their own podcasts, and it was also a cafe around the studio. And phenomenally, more than 20,000 people visited that venue. It's a city of 140,000. The station said that they saw a rise in audience share from 13% to 17% within a year and significantly strengthened listener engagement. Here's a little snippet of how it went down.
Απόλαυσε το αγαπημένο σου καφέ σε φαρέ με γρήγορο Wi-Fi, όσο εμείς κάνουμε εκπομπή live μπροστά σου. Love Café στο Καψίς Αστόρια, το πρώτο ραδιοφωνικό καφέ στην Ελλάδα.
Η αρχική ιδέα ήταν ξεκάθαρη. Ένα ραδιοφωνικό στούντιο και ένα καφέ στον ίδιο χώρο στο κέντρο της πόλης.
Ένα στούντιο χωρίς τείχους, ανοιχτό στον κόσμο. Να το βλέπεις, να πίνεις καφέ και να είσαι δίπλα του. Γι' αυτό δεν έμεινε ιδέα.
Και τότε ήρθε το επόμενο βήμα. Να ανοίξουμε το στούντιο σε όλους.
Έχεις ιδέες, έχεις φωνή. Το Love Café σου δίνει το μικρόφωνο. Κάνε το δικό σου podcast δωρεάν. Πληροφορίες στο love1028.gr.
Love Café, Radio, Podcast Studio.
So a little bit different from your standard outside broadcast unit where a warm space where your listeners can come and hang out with you. Next, we're going to go to Hits Radio in the United Kingdom and a huge charity event, Matchball Mission. So some of you might know Sam Thompson. He's a big reality TV star across the UK and in Ireland, and he's also a Hits Radio presenter. And he undertook a 260-mile multi-day endurance challenge involving both running and cycling. His mission was to deliver the official match ball for Soccer Aid, which is a huge charity event on TV in the UK each year, despite having a calf injury. And he raised over 1.5 million UK pounds for UNICEF to support child health, nutrition and safety. A couple of clips just to give you an example of what happened. Firstly, this was a surprise phone call for Sam.
We've got a very special message for you from the Prime Minister.
Shut up! No.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Yeah, no, you don't.
Yes, we do.
The Prime Minister. Yeah.
My message to him is he's doing a fantastic job. I've seen footage of him running, including with that injury. I have to say it's pretty inspiring. But he's doing an absolutely fantastic job. All tribute to him, and I think we'd all applaud what he's doing. It's really hard work, particularly if you've got an injury. And Soccer Aid is always good. So fully supportive of it, and you know, I'll do everything to support it I can.
Sam! How crazy is that?
Yeah. You got Kia. Yeah. Sir.
He knows your name.
Well, all the better when you become Sir Sam Thompson.
Yes.
Yeah. The whole nation is 100% behind you, and it's obviously filtered up
to the Prime Minister himself. So that's how proud everybody is of you, mate.
And this was the moment where Sam completed the challenge and realised how much money he'd raised.
So we're screaming, did it, mate? He did it! Yes!
How do you feel?
Oh man, I feel so much better after hearing the donations, dude. £1.5 million raised for UNICEF. That is the only thing that matters, man. And like the people who like turned out every single time we've ever clocked into a place, you're all so great. And everyone who's donated, like it's so magic, man. It's so magic. I'm so grateful to everybody.
There was no guarantee you were going to get this thing done. You have been through hell and back to cross that line. Injuries, rain, it must have been horrible.
Mate, I'm going to be honest with you, day one when I tore my calf, I was literally like, I'm going to be the first person who's not going to be able to do this. I cried into the physio, I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this. And the fact that I blinked and we're here is absolutely mental. It's the team around UNICEF and Soccer Aid, it's the whole team. People who come when like been at the lowest moments, but more than anything, as I say, it's the people at home who donated. Like that is the only thing that matters, man. It's not about me, it's about UNICEF, it's about the charity, and we have done so well. I'm so grateful for everybody because it's going to change so many lives. So I'm so grateful.
Fair play to Sam. Okay, we got one left. We're going to go to Australia for our final promotion, and I really waged this one up because I've been doing this presentation since Vienna in 2018, and many times over the years I featured Kyle and Jackie O, and I thought, well, we've only got probably one last chance to include them. So let's do it. The $100,000 ball drop, a fun way to give away some cash. And they did this in Sydney last year, and they did it in Melbourne in this year. And contestants had to catch foam balls dropped from a helicopter, with each ball containing either a cash prize or diamond jewellery. Now, it was held in late January to start the radio show's year and hopefully increase their ratings in Melbourne, but circumstances have taken over since then. But if you're looking for something different in terms of giving away some cash, take a look.
So we are on a huge tennis court in Melbourne. We have contestants who have won their spot. Some have been flown in from other states. They're all there ready to go. A chopper is going to fly overhead and drop 200 balls on the tennis court. Every single ball is worth something.
That's right.
Some are worth more than others. Some are worth a diamond bracelet from Cador.
That's so lovely, those.
Each contestant will grab 2 balls each, and then we'll reveal what they're worth.
Cooper Johns is in the Kyle and Jackie O chopper above the tennis courts. Have you asked the pilot what are the weather conditions like? Because they are 200 foam balls, dropping them from the belly of the helicopter.
Get the best wind conditions possible. Not too windy, but just windy enough to get the propellers going.
I don't think it relies on wind.
Intern Pete's on the ground. Pete, what's the vibe like on the ground?
Oh, the vibe is amazing. Kyle and Jackie, look at this. Wow. Oh, there's the chopper there behind you guys.
There it is.
There it is.
Oh my God. Balls are going down. Kyle and Jackie O.
Here we go. The balls are being released as we speak.
Ladies and gentlemen, 5, 4, 3, 2. Look at them go! Holy moly diddly do!
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a swarm of people. Tennis balls. Remember, you get 2 tennis balls, and you absolutely make sure you've only got 2.
Here comes that chopper again.
Oh, can you not go away? There's a lot going on. Go into the holding pen. Go into the holding pen. I told you guys it was behind the scenes.
I don't like all the drones and the helicopters all together at the same time. It makes me very nervous.
Get in there. Has everyone got a ball? Go, 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 go. We've selected a few people out of the audience here. What's your name?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. She has just won $20,000. Holy moly. You have just won a Cador bracelet.
You got the diamonds. Lucky
Diamonds
you.
are a girl's best friend.
What is your name, man? 2 diamond bracelets.
What the hell?
$10,000.
10 grand. Holy shit.
We really in need of something, and you guys give this opportunity. It's amazing. So thank you so much.
Oh, darling, you're
love
welcome.
you,
That's
beautiful.
all.
I'm so happy for you.
So, different way of giving away some cash. So that's our 10 ideas. This is the important part, takeaways to think about if you're going to do a big promotion in your station. And number one, ensure your mechanic is not overly complicated. One of the things I think with all of those ideas is that they were quite simple and they can be scaled up or down, whether you're a big station with big resources or a smaller station. Number two, give it the serial effect so people want to know what happens next. That's going to get you your TSL, your share. Number three, ensure your 360 approach so that you are nailing digital, your social, your video, you're on the street if it's important, but always bring it back to the on-air product. Remember that big budgets aren't everything. It's all about being creative. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
See you all tonight at the party. And of course, don't forget that tomorrow we start at 9 o'clock. First session at the first track. So see ya.
Thanks a million, sir. Cheers. Thanks, Lee.